Well, on the topic of the loss of liberty, one of the hardest consequences of Australia's COVID-19 response has actually been the complete inability for citizens to travel overseas or to actually return back to our shores if they've been permission to leave. Now, for most, this has meant nothing more than they lose their summer holiday in Europe. But for many, it's actually meant an alienation from family across the other side of the world. We've heard stories and we've seen stories out of Queensland in the last 18 months of people who've been denied access to quarantine exemptions for medical care or to see their dying relatives. Anthony McCormick, he missed the opportunity to see his dying mother just last week.
They failed me in getting to see my mother. They never called me. They've let the case drop, and they don't seem too concerned about anything more to do with it. Everything points to this to be just brazen, outright lying. That's what it points to.
So just tragic circumstances. But what about this? What if you had to deal with a life-threatening illness? Would you make the choice to head overseas for treatment that wasn't available in your own country, not knowing whether you'll be able to re-enter the country or if you'll be allowed to quarantine where you can actually be cared for when you do return by family or close loved ones? Well, Samantha Lakey is a young Australian who is facing that dilemma. She travelled to Russia for stem cell treatment for multiple sclerosis. It was only one of 2 places in the world for that treatment, and she's now facing a battle against the Queensland state government to get an exemption to quarantine at home while recovering. She joins me now from a hospital room in Moscow. Samantha, I really appreciate your time. You've taken this incredible step.
Thank you for having me.
Because for your health, it's come at a huge financial cost. But the simple request is that when you want to come back to Australia, you want to do your quarantine with an appropriate carer being your mother in your home, and the government is denying that to you. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes, 3 times.
And so what avenues are now open to you, Samantha?
See, that's where I'm a bit confused. So the government has given me 2 options. First option is to have my mother and I stay in an apartment together, which I have issues with because you're asking a 70-year-old woman to cart around equipment, cleaning products, around an apartment that's already set up in my own home. The second option is that they want me to quarantine in a hospital. And again, that doesn't suit well to me because a hospital has so many sick people, COVID-related, non-COVID related, and all the letters that I have received from my professional team, or my medical team, have said I need to be far away from anyone with illness, full stop. Can't touch anything, can't be in and amongst any buildings that's being associated with illness.
Well, Samantha, you had difficulties even leaving the country. The federal government, I think, put some roadblocks
I did.
Your local federal MP, Terry Young, made some noise on your behalf, which enabled you to take this potentially life-saving treatment in Russia. Have you been in touch with him about your return and the desire and perhaps the practical need to quarantine at home?
Yes.
Where your mother is available to care for you?
Yes, I have contacted my local MP, and they've always, all of the team have been nothing but so kind. However, the Queensland government says, to get rid of the middleman and have me contact them one-on-one. So it's really kind. I pass on all of the information to them, but unfortunately the Queensland government says, no, we need you to contact us.
See, Samantha, cases like yours make me think that state governments in particular have taken leave of their senses here. You are undertaking something that is not available in Australia. Your health is at risk. They've made some overtures about, you can go into a hospital, but it doesn't suit you. You can save them a lot of money. And it just appears that the Queensland government doesn't want to know. They've just been fobbed off, it sounds to me.
The only question that keeps running through my head at the moment is when I read on their website, it says the only way for you to get an exemption is if you have a special type of exemption or circumstance. I've asked them what their definition of this is, and I have no idea. Still no answer. So is it something like I need to be famous or a superstar to get a special consideration?
Well, I tell you, just common sense says that you're undergoing stem cell treatment for multiple sclerosis. You're highly unlikely to have COVID-19. You're highly unlikely to put yourself in a risky position. You're due to arrive back in Australia on about July the 22nd, so we've got to do something about this in the next week. Let's hope common sense will prevail. One question for you. How is your health after the treatment?
I am proud to say that I am MS-free. The hospital has halted my progression, and I am currently only 8 years old because of my new immune system.
Wow, that's you've just brought a huge smile to my face, and I think to tens of thousands of Australians too. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us from Moscow, and I hope you'll join us again when you get back to Australia and out of quarantine at home. Congratulations, and thanks, Samantha.
Thank you, Cory.
Wow, what a wonderful way to end an extraordinary tale. Let's hope it has a truly happy ending in a week's time when she gets to come to Australia.